It's just on Mr. North.
Just me. Okay. So, if everybody could direct your attention up here, close your laptops. I would appreciate it. Now, as we've already looked at once on how to make a podcast, Danny, could you please close your laptops? I'm going to go through one more time on how we are going to make our podcasts. So the first part, you guys already did the recordings. So now I need to make a recording so I can actually go back through. So somebody asked me a question. Go ahead.
Do you like teaching?
I love teaching. Teaching is one of my favorite things. I chose to become a teacher because of I didn't like my business path in college, and then I really, really liked working with children. Julian.
Okay, so mine turned yellow, not red. Why is yours red?
Mine is red because I have red hair. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea why it is red or why it is yellow, but it is recording, as you guys can see. Lane?
What is the meaning of life?
What is the meaning of life? I think life is what you make of it.
42.
I have a question.
You provide the meaning in your own life. Daniel?
You like food,
Do I like food?
Do you like food?
I love food.
Does it matter if you move the thing down to female or male or jingles?
It does not matter if you move it down to male, female. I'm not sure if it matters if you put it to jingles. I think that's where you have to add music. All right, so that will conclude the actual recording that I'm going to be putting up there for you guys today. And now we'll go back, and like we did before, you click play, listen to it. One of my favorite things, I chose to become a teacher because of I didn't like my business path in college, and then I really, really liked working with children. Julian.
Okay, so mine turned yellow, not red. Why is yours red?
Mine is red because I have red hair. No, I'm just kidding. I have no idea why it is red or... Okay, so right there,
Now it's perfect.
Julian asked me a question, okay? And I gave him a sarcastic response instead of a truthful response, okay? So that's something I do not want in my finished product, right? I want the correct answer, not the incorrect answer. So I go back.
He said because I read it.
Mine is red because I have red hair. Okay, so we see right here, based on where the inflection of the voice is, where that happens, and you have to get the exact moment. Mine is so mine. I saw that at 2.2. Mine is at 2.25, right there. So at that point, now how do I split that? Somebody besides Julian. Julian, you've already.
Edit Control T.
Okay, so Andrew, Control T. So I hit Control T, and now I've split it right there. And what is the next part? If I'm trying to take out that incorrect answer.
You gotta find the end.
Somebody beside Andrew.
Find the end of what you said.
Alan.
Don't you have to move the things?
No.
Don't you have to find where you want to cut it and then make the...
Find the end of what you don't want.
I need to find the end where I want to cut off the other part. So I listen to it again. Mine is red because I have red hair. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So right there, I heard mine is red because I have red hair. And I know that that part is what I don't want. So I need to find the exact second.
Just kidding. You don't want to know I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Just kidding. I have no... And that's going to be a tough one to get in between.
No kidding and I.
Kidding.
Right there. Perfect.
Okay. So I think that's about the right spot. So I cut it again. Pull this one a little bit away so I can hear it. Kidding. I have no idea. Oh.
Still some kidding.
I still hear kidding in there, so I'm going to have to cut it again.
Right there.
I have no idea why. All right, so I nailed it that time.
Nailed it.
So these ones, these pieces, I no longer need. So I can pull them over here to the end and drop them. Okay? But I don't want to delete them because I might hear it later and realize maybe I want to hold on to those parts. Okay, so something I want you guys to remember throughout this, I'll just write it up here.
You know, it'll make it easier if they let you change the names of the little thing. Because you're going to have so many.
You can do that.
Do not delete anything without
Permission.
I was going to say asking, but yes, permission. Okay? So do not delete anything off of there without asking. Why would I say that? Lane, yes, because you might need it. And what happens if you delete it?
You can't get
You
it
can't
back.
ever get it back.
Well, you can get it back,
You gotta undo.
But then you
but you have to hit Control Z and go through all that undo process. So last year when we were doing the documentaries, I had students that were trying to do a voiceover, and they were trying to connect the talking that one of their interviews had with a video, okay? And they thought they had done it correctly, and they went through, and this is after like an hour and a half of editing, and we go back and we listen to the whole thing, and they think they're finished. And we realized they cut out the most important like sentence right in the middle of his speaking because they cut out that piece of his video so that they could show a picture during that time, but they accidentally cut the audio out too. So after an hour and a half of editing, we had to go back and hit Control Z, I don't know, something like 30 times, to get them back to before they had deleted it, so they could put that soundbite back in.
Wouldn't it have been just smarter to take another part and record it and then just put it in there?
But it was somebody else's interview. I mean, you guys could re-record, but
Oh.
this is practice for the future when you use this over again, so that you know not to delete anything, so that you've done it the same way before, so we can use it again and use the same type of process, okay? Yes?
Alright, I did something. I don't know what I did, but it like stretched it out,
You slowed it down.
and it was like really fast though. But then when I play, like, you see how like when you talk, it makes it
See, you just added flex time.
I don't remember.
How'd you do that?
Stretch it, Julie.
You stretch it right here. You don't want to do that, okay? So I'm gonna go back and say that was an accident.
But then like you see how the dark purple lines, like when you talk, I don't know what happened, but those stretched out, and then like when it gets to that part, it should.
Alright, well, I'll help you on a one-on-one basis. Does anybody else have any questions about what the whole class is working on? We'll go Julie and then Lane.
Okay, so what happens if you don't want that gap right there, but you don't want like
You could just move that whole thing.
Okay, so Julian's question is, what happens if we don't want this gap right here? So you can grab this and you can pull it closer.
well, I mean like what if you don't want two separate pieces?
I thought you can't do that.
You're gonna have two separate pieces. We already cut it into separate pieces.
Doesn't matter.
I think there is some way of linking it together, but I can help you with that. Lane?
Not to pull the bird, and then also, I already kind of maybe deleted some.
Things that you need?
I don't know if it's things that I need.
Okay, well, let's not worry about that. That'll be a case-by-case basis. When you raise your hand, if you have questions, I can help you one-on-one. But right now, we're just focused on things that the whole class needs to know. Does anybody else have any of those types of questions?
Can you show us how to export again?
Yes, definitely. I'll definitely show you how to do that. But right here, so now my new
I
product.
really, really liked working with children. Julian.
Okay, so mine turned yellow, not red. Why is yours red?
I have no idea why it is red or why it is yellow, but it is recorded.
Okay, so
as
it
you guys
jumps-
can see. Lane?
So it jumps to my actual answer instead of the sarcasm that I should not have used with Julian. All right?
How do
Tiara.
you get rid of the person in the background?
What?
How do you get rid of the person in the background?
That's one of those things. That's why we had you re-record it, and we had you record it off on your own, because that's something you can't fix. You can't just pull people out of the background. You can make the background noise a little bit less, but that's not something we're going to work on this time around. That's kind of a later down the road skill that we'll use in our next thing. Yes.
But it doesn't sound. The transition doesn't sound right because your voice
Yeah.
just goes like super louder
Mhm.
than regular.
And that's something that you have to work on with sound going in and out. Yeah. So again, that's another one of those skills that we're not working on with this project. This time we're just trying to do the basics. And when we get into future projects, that'll be one of the next skills that we build on top of this. Okay? So for this one, somebody run me through how to make it an MP3 again.
Oh, okay.
Jonathan?
Share,
So you click on share first. What's my next step?
export, podcast to disk,
Podcast to disk.
change,
Oh, it's already changed.
Well, it's already changed this time, but you need to make sure that it's an MP3, not AAC. And this time you're doing a spoken podcast, not
It'll
one
start
of
at
those
high
others.
quality.
It'll start, yes, it'll start at high quality or musical. I've seen it start at musical too. But you guys are doing a spoken podcast, so make sure that you are
And then press
clicking on that
export,
one.
And then
Alright.
it lets you name it.
Then you put it on export. You're gonna name it, and I want you guys to all save it into your American Studies folder. After you have it saved into your American Studies folders, except Lane, you're gonna save it just to the desktop since you're using a loaner computer, okay? So you're gonna save it to your specific spot, and then once you've done that, you can go into Echo, and it says turn podcast in here. Click on that link for me. And it'll take you to this screen, and that's where you're going to attach your MP3 so that Mrs. Kemp and I can listen to them and give you grades for them. This is total worth 10 points for knowledge and thinking, 20 points for oral communication. All right, so we're gonna work on that. Once you finish up here with me, so once you finish editing and submitting that podcast, you're gonna move back to the back, and Mrs. Kemp is gonna help you working on your letters. All right, so I'll be up here helping you guys with the making of the MP3. She'll be back there helping you with finishing up your letters. And next class period, we're gonna move on to the new project. Okay? Questions? All right, I'll come around for individual questions. Everybody, let's get to work. Yeah, and I'll put the agenda back up so you guys can see it. The only two things that should be on your screen, you shouldn't be on the internet. So if you're on the internet, close that out. Like on my screen, you see the little blue lights below all these extra other things. Close out of all of those except for GarageBand, or if you have Microsoft Word open for your letter. Those are the only two things that you should have open on your screen.
How do you attach them? Pressing attach file.
But you know,
Okay, and also, if you
You go to-
turn your light
It
fans,
sounds
you can
good.
take them off of the wall.
This is why.
Now I'm just gonna pitch up. You're all done and
You're
submitted.
attached, and then you can go back there and finish your letter up.
I never touched
so
it.
go to
I never
share,
done- I never
export podcast to disk,
Yes.
and then spoken.
Spoken podcast with the export button? Yes.
It still sounds good, but I was just saying,
I did like that.
Yeah, if you're ready to export, you're ready to export.
it's not it's clear, it's not ready yet.
Okay. Well, I'll be right there. Yeah. Yeah, take a favor.